Right now at 9, 2 Jasper County men are behind bars after 2 juvenile girls are discovered in their home. Plus,
inspired by her time as an elementary school teacher seeing kids go hungry, a Pitt State professor is bringing her twist to an event to fight food insecurity. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those details.
Also, although the 4 states hasn't seen too much snow yet this year, that hasn't stopped an art teacher from bringing snowflakes to Joplin. And a deadly shooting in New York City Friday night killed a police officer and critically injured another.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. 2 Jasper County men are behind bars tonight after 2 underage girls are discovered in a home. On Friday, Jasper County deputies responded to a home at 4183 West Cactus Lane in Joplin to check the welfare of a 13-year-old girl who had been reported missing from East Prairie, Missouri. Now, during the investigation, authorities learned that 19-year-old Grant Henson had driven to East Prairie, picked up the girl, and brought her back to his home. Officials say she was held against her will and sexually assaulted. Grant has been charged with first-degree kidnapping and first-degree sodomy, and he's being held on no bond. Now, while conducting the investigation, they found 22-year-old Brian Henson with a 16-year-old girl at that home as well. Brian was arrested and charged with second-degree statutory rape. He's being held on a $100,000 bond. Just afternoon Saturday, Jasper County Emergency 911 were alerted to a structure fire just south of County Road 120 and Missouri 96 along Old 66 Boulevard. Carthage Fire, Mercy Ambulance, and Avila Fire as mutual aid responded. Jasper County Sheriff's deputies ended up assisting. Jasper County Sheriff's deputies tell us on scene everyone was out of the residence safely at that home just northeast of Carthage. A Missouri woman faces charges after police say she shot a McDonald's employee during an argument. The incident happened Wednesday during the lunch hour at a suburban St. Louis McDonald's. Police say a drive-thru customer was arguing with a female employee over a discount on French fries. The worker was then confronted when she went out on a smoke break outside the restaurant. Police say Tarika Clay hit the woman on the head with a gun and then shot her in the chest. The employee was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Clay faces first-degree assault and armed criminal action charges and is being held on $150,000 bond. Well, the sun certainly came out today, but it was still a bit on the chilly side. Nick Kelly joining us.
But at least back near normal. We couldn't say the same from the other day, Chris, as we started the cold weekend out. But 18 this morning, downright cold for sure, but back to 46 this afternoon, a little bit warmer than our average high of 45 degrees. We've been keeping quiet all day long and all evening long with mostly clear skies, but a little cloud covers coming and going across the region, all because of an upper level wave running along a cold front that'll pay us a visit tomorrow. It won't completely sweep through. Still doesn't change the fact that we're going to end the weekend on a nice snow. Let me show you what I mean. Temperatures with the southwest wind ahead of that approaching front will drop off much more throughout the overnight. We'll only drop off near 28 to start your Sunday morning out. Partly sunny skies for some in the morning, and everyone's just flat out mostly sunny and looking good temperature-wise for tomorrow afternoon. Highs back around 50. We'll see if this is a trend that can hold for the rest of the upcoming week when we dive deeper into the forecast here in a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. About 1 in 4 children in the Pittsburgh area face food insecurity, meaning 16% of local children eat less than 1 meal a day. Well, a Pitt State professor is helping to fix that. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us how.
Mayumi Kiefer is an art professor at Pitt State, but before coming here, she worked at an Ohio elementary school where she noticed food insecurity affecting her students.
So if the many times that we heard or we saw was if student who doesn't have a breakfast didn't eat and then come to school, they are not able to focus. And then also I think it's just a insecurity feeling we can kind of feel or see.
Kiefer knew it wasn't okay, so she stepped in.
And that is the one that is starting to thinking of us to what can I help or what can we help as a community to supporting for the student or the children or some other people who are not able to receiving the food for the weekend, and so we will be able to help in them. So I think in the past we are able to help so many students in a weekend meal as a backpack program.
In 2010, she started Artists Against Hunger in Ohio, aimed at tackling food insecurity in the community. When Kiefer started teaching sculptures and ceramics at Pitt State a year ago, she wanted to continue what she started and added onto the Empty Bowls program.
So I started teaching last semester, and then I just jumped into what can I do and what can we do. Then we started to making bowls in last October. And then some of the bowls are already made by local artists. So we added on and we receiving from them about their bowls, and then we put together in an event.
Anyone interested in a bowl made by local artists and students containing a gift card to a local eatery could grab one. All they ask is for a suggested donation, which then benefits a local Pittsburgh food bank like Wesley House.
So the PSU has a gorilla pantry, a food pantry for students up there. So we got a donation through the Church of Latter-day Saints, and so we're giving some of the easy, like just microwavable, like soups and chili and beef stew to that pantry as well.
Kiefer adds, as an artist, she wanted to not only pursue her passion, but ensure that passion helped the community as well. In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
All the bowls on display were uniquely different, and no two were the same. Well, despite the weather, some folks in Joplin were able to see snow today. The Spiva Center for the Arts hosted a class teaching people how to make Snowflake Sun Catchers. They're made out of fused glass, so participants cut glass, layer it, and then the instructor takes it home and puts it in a kiln. Jane McCauley, a local art instructor, says it's her way to bring winter to the area.
It's nuts. The snow is all gone, so we're trying to bring our own snow and make glass snowflakes. So couldn't build a snowman, but but they're fun to make.
Now, McCauley will host another type of glass fusing class next month. A deadly shooting in New York City Friday night killed a police officer and critically injured another. The two officers were shot just hours after President Biden met with city leaders, urging them to increase their police funding. Alexandria Hoff has that story from Washington.
President Biden set out a tweet expressing sadness and offering prayer for the two New York officers, adding, quote, "Officers put on the badge and head into harm's way every day. We're grateful to them and their families for their extraordinary sacrifice." The president's personal messaging towards law enforcement has remained consistent as of late, closing out the U.S. Conference of Mayors this weekend with this.
We shouldn't be cutting funding for police departments. I propose increasing funding. Look, we ask cops to do everything.
Increasing police funding flies in the face of progressives within his own party, and according to several Senate Republicans, runs counter to new action by the president's administration. Just yesterday, the group led by Republican Senator Chuck Grassley released a letter condemning a proposed executive order that they say would limit non-lethal police resources like armored vehicles and flashbang devices, writing this, quote, "Police officers will face a grim reality if this executive order is enacted and their life-saving equipment is restricted from them. Violent crime will continue to skyrocket." The White House responded to the letter, beginning with this. The president, along with the overwhelming majority of Americans, knows that we can and must have a criminal justice system that both protects public safety and upholds our founding ideals of equal treatment under the law. As for executive action on police reform, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration had previously held back on it in the hopes of reaching a bipartisan agreement, which we now know those negotiations ended without a deal. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Corporal Cresley Clark served in the Army in Korea, his hometown, Decatur, Arkansas. We're proud to recognize Cresley Clark, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, learn more about other heroes and nominate one of your own at any time. Just head over to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Coming up, COVID test results are in for foreign athletes arriving in Beijing for the Olympics.
Some encouraging news in the fight against the Omicron variant. I'm Charles Watson in Atlanta. I'll have the latest coming up.
Unlike the flat-out cold day that we had to put up with to start the weekend, we did a lot better as far as temperatures go for today. Just looking back at Friday, though, still sends some shivers down my spine. We dropped to 6 at Joplin Regional yesterday morning. Thankfully, though, we were back in the lower 30s yesterday afternoon. Again, not much of a drop off this morning as advertised, right around the upper teens to about 20 degrees, and then right back into the mid 40s across much of the area. Those are numbers that we should be seeing for this time of the year, but in fact we'll go a little warmer as we kick off early next week with 50s on the docket for Sunday and Monday. But while the week starts chilly, we're going to turn cooler yet again as we go through the middle of next week. Not a very active week until we hit Thursday. That's where we could see another storm system try to give us a shot for some rain, maybe a little snow, but still a system worth watching as we continue through the week ahead of us. In the meantime, though, 7th and Range Line looking quiet. It's been looking quiet all day long, and that's what really helped temperatures out across the rest of the area after we started in the upper teens and lower 20s this morning. You can see how most of southwest Missouri hit the mid 40s today, mid 40s to 50 though. For our corners of Kansas and Oklahoma, those were nice numbers to be seen for sure. But of course, once we get past sunset, the numbers had to actually go back down. But before we hit the 9 o'clock hour, we were only sitting in the lower to middle 30s. I still think we're on set to hold around the upper 20s to lower 30s with a little bit of passing cloud cover coming through. That's really about it as far as our weather setup goes for tonight, because an upper level wave is running along the cold front to the north. Now the cold front is going to try and pay us a visit tomorrow, but it doesn't sweep through. That means we'll still top out near 50 tomorrow. But here's the upper wave that's going to pass mainly to the northeast. So the snow concerns with that is going to stay up near the Great Lakes. But we're going to watch for this upper low to pass by to the south early next week, and eventually this upper level low to try and change things up by the time we hit Thursday, if not by the middle of the week. In the short term, though, you can see how mostly clear skies to partly cloudy skies, just passing cloud cover throughout the night, nothing underneath the clouds, so we're going to stay dry as we get your Sunday morning started. And you can see how with the temperatures, we only top out near 50, even with the front parked just to the north of the region for tomorrow. So it's going to be another cold start, but once we hit the mid 40s by the afternoon, even with a light north breeze at 5 to 10, we'll top out near 50 for your Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, Monday morning, looking quiet, mostly clear skies. And I still think overall we'll trend mostly sunny for Monday with highs. I think it's underdoing a little bit here. I think we'll be in the mid 50s before we see a good cold front start to work in on Tuesday. But here's the good wave that's passing just to the south. Originally, we thought this was going to give us some rain chances Monday. That's staying mainly to the south now, but you can see how another upper level low pushes the jet back to the south. Couple that with the cold front, this will knock us back into the 30s for Wednesday, staying cool throughout the middle of the week. Then here's Thursday's system. First impressions wants to bring in some rain, maybe some snow chances by Thursday night, early Friday morning, but that is certainly going to keep temperatures on the cool side of things overall once we hit the end of next week. 50 tomorrow, 56 Monday, 34 on Tuesday. Then we're back in the 40s for Wednesday and Thursday, Chris, and that wave by Thursday. It'll knock us back into the 30s on Friday and then 47 on Saturday.
You know, I feel like we just got off that last roller coaster of temperatures and now we're jumping right on another one.
Yeah, but at least we're trending up this go around after that flat out cold Friday we had.
Oh, yeah. No, I do like this a lot better than what we saw Friday.
Yeah, no more single digits in the short term. That's good.
That's good. That's very good. Nick, thank you so much. Well, up next, the Food and Drug Administration has extended the use of the antiviral remdesivir for treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19. Well, no foreign athletes that have arrived in Beijing for the Winter Olympics have tested positive for COVID-19 as of Wednesday. That's according to the Beijing 2022 media team. As for Friday, more than 2,000 participants have arrived in the city. To limit the spread of infection, officials are sealing the entire games inside what they are calling, quote, a closed loop system. That means a bubble completely cut off from the rest of the city. Beijing is fighting a COVID outbreak with 33 new cases reported since last week. The Food and Drug Administration has extended the use of the antiviral remdesivir for treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19. The medication received emergency use authorization in May of 2020. Back then, it was only for use in people hospitalized with severe COVID-19, but in October of that year, it was approved for anyone 12 and older who was hospitalized. But on Friday, the agency expanded the use to include everyone who tests positive for the disease but is not hospitalized, has mild to moderate symptoms, and is at high risk of severe illness. Patients can get the medication through an IV for a period of 3 days. New evidence shows getting a COVID-19 vaccine does not impact a couple's chance of having a baby. Researchers found getting vaccinated against the coronavirus does not impair fertility in men or women. However, a COVID infection could potentially affect a man's fertility for up to 60 days. Researchers say men experience a slightly lower chances of conception after being infected. Findings are published in the American Journal of Epidemiology. It's been a while since we've heard the latest data on COVID being presented as a good thing. But with cases dropping in some of the areas hit the hardest just a few weeks ago, the numbers are offering some hope that Omicron could be on its way out. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has the latest.
Health experts have warned for weeks the peak of Omicron could come sometime this month, and the latest data shows some parts of the country may now be on the tail end of the latest wave. Infection rates falling week over week in 19 states. The Northeast, which had seen the biggest numbers of new cases, now seeing a 40% drop. Cases are still rising slightly in the Midwest and South, but the pace has slowed down. Hospitalizations, meanwhile, are near all-time records, though the number has shown signs of stabilizing. The quick spread of the strain forcing many Americans to hit the pause button on a full return to normal.
Worrying about every single thing you touch, every certain person you speak to, the people you get together with. So, it's tiring, So it takes a toll.
But even with Omicron appearing to slow down, health experts are warning it won't be the last mutation of the virus.
It tells us a lot about what we might expect from a next variant, that it really could come out of nowhere, that it could really change its properties, evade our immunity. And the thing that I think worries people the most is it can become a lot more contagious, and there's nothing to say it can't also become deadlier.
The White House is now banking on increased testing as the best way to get out in front of another potential wave. They've pledged to send out 1 billion free tests to American households. Those free at-home tests started shipping this week. You can order them online at covidtest.gov. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Up next, Brazil is postponing a major annual celebration. Well, they won't get to party hardy for the Carnival in Brazil, at least not for now. Officials in Brazil's cities of Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo have postponed the celebration of the annual Carnival parades as COVID-19 and variants continue to spread throughout the country. Colorful parades with plenty of costumes, dancing, and samba music have been delayed until the end of April, but dance fever enthusiasts might still be able to swivel those hips soon. Officials are still considering allowing samba school parades at the end of February. Police in Ecuador have mobilized their special units to investigate a shooting that left at least 4 people dead. It happened at a resort area outside the nation's largest city, Guayaquil, leaving 11 others injured. Now, police say more than a dozen attackers emerged from boats on Friday and fired at people on land. The resort is popular with locals, but it's not a destination for many international travelers. We're going to wrap up this half hour of the news at 9 with some not so good news for movie fans, specifically fans of Mission Impossible. Fans of the Mission Impossible movies, well, you're going to have to wait longer for the next installment of the popular franchise. The film's production companies, Paramount Pictures and Skydance, have announced the 7th and 8th Mission Impossible films starring Tom Cruise are being delayed until next year and the year after because of delays related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mission Impossible 7 had been scheduled to debut in movie theaters this coming September, followed by Mission Impossible 8 in July of next year. The 7th installment will now be released on July 14th of 2023, and the 8th installment will debut on June 28th of 2024. This marks the latest pandemic-related postponement for the franchisee's 7th installment. Its most recent release date was to have been this May on the 7th. Christmas only comes once a year, but some Americans like to keep the comfort and joy going all through January by leaving their trees up. Holiday decor site Treetopia surveyed about 3,500 people to find out how long their Christmas trees stay up after the holiday. The country averages just under 3 weeks. Arizona, Illinois, and Maryland go for ho, ho, ho the longest, about 4 weeks. North Carolinians are maybe a little grinchy. They just keep them up 2.1 weeks. West Virginia, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, and New Hampshire are around 2.3 weeks. The rest are maybe between that 2 to 3 week mark. You know how it is. Some of it, I think, is also just, I don't always feel like taking the Christmas stuff down. It took so much to put it all up, and then you just don't want to take it, because then you got to take it down, box it up, just leave it up. You're ready for next year. Well, you know how this works. We've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports headed your way. First, heavy snow in China stranding a number of cranes. Plus, health workers in India going on a hike, but not for their health, for the health of some villagers. Also, researchers at a major university came up with a device to help you detect COVID risks while you're out and about. And Arizona Democrats censure a senator for blocking voting rights legislation. Bitter cold is taking a toll on hundreds of endangered black-necked cranes in China. State TV says about 1,200 of the vulnerable species were stranded after the extreme cold caused ice to form on their feet and wings, preventing them from flying. Well, Americans can get vaccinations around the corner. Indian villagers wait for snow hikers risking their own health to bring the shots. Indian Army personnel escorted health workers to villages in remote northwest regions and gave vaccine shots to locals after hiking through tough snow-filled terrain. Villagers say they were grateful for their efforts to help them stay safe from the COVID-19 virus. 70% of India's 939 million adult population has received 2 primary vaccines. India has a daily positivity rate of 17%, according to the government. Researchers at a major university came up with a device to help you detect COVID risks while you're out and about. Scientists at Yale University School of Public Health developed a wearable pen which captures virus-laden aerosols onto a testing surface. The passive air sampler can be worn on outer clothing and can be used in high-risk settings such as healthcare and restaurants. Yale Health said the clips are easy to use, non-invasive, and low cost. They could be publicly available in the near future. Arizona Democrats censured Senator Kristen Sinema for blocking voting rights legislation. Top leaders of the Arizona Democratic Party condemned Sinema's actions by voting to censure her on Saturday. The move came after Sinema chose to protect the filibuster and obstruct voting rights legislation. Party Chair Raquel Tehran released a statement saying, in part, quote, "The Arizona Democratic Party is a diverse coalition with plenty of room for policy disagreements." She added, "The ramifications of failing to pass federal legislation that protects their right to vote are too large and too far-reaching." Afghanistan is now the #1 country in the world where it's dangerous to be a Christian. For the first time, it tops the Open Doors 2022 World Watch List. The annual report ranks the top 50 countries where Christians could be persecuted. Fox News chief religion correspondent Lauren Green reports.
Stats show Christianity is the most persecuted religion worldwide. An annual report shows where it is most dangerous for them. Last summer's chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan left in its wake thousands of Christians who fell victim to the Taliban's door-to-door campaign to eradicate them.
In September, shortly after the Taliban seized control, a list was circulated with the names of prominent Christians. Somehow, this list fell into the hands of the Taliban. Those listed were among the first to be hunted.
According to the Christian watchdog organization Open Doors USA, Afghanistan now tops the list of the top 50 countries where it is most dangerous to be a believer in Jesus Christ. It supplanted North Korea, which held the position for 20 years. It's now #2.
But I want to be absolutely clear. North Korea has not gotten better. Afghanistan has gotten worse.
Today, every Christian in Afghanistan is now in hiding or on the run, deemed infidels by the Taliban. Its punishment is death.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
This Afghan Christian, who wanted his identity hidden, barely escaped the country during the withdrawal. Now he fears for those left behind.
I know if they find them, definitely that will be death punishment. Capital punishment, hanging or shooting them. That's the normal procedure for them.
Communist China has become a country of increasing concern. Ranked 17th, the country has made it illegal for anyone under 18 to attend church. The government has even rewritten parts of the Bible it considers a threat to the authority of the state.
And I think we need to directly confront China on its persecution of people of faith, like we did the Soviet Union on its persecution of Jews and evangelicals. And we need to delegitimize the Chinese Communist Party.
Open Doors is also calling on Americans to boycott the upcoming Winter Olympic Games in China in support of the persecuted religious minorities. In New York, Lauren Green, Fox News.
Later, Subaru has an all-new WRX sports sedan coming to showrooms this spring. We're going to take a look at it in tonight's Car Report.
At the very least, we certainly improved things as far as temperatures go. You could not say the same thing about Friday unless you really loved how frigidly cold it was to start the day out. It was nope. Chris didn't like it. I didn't like it driving into work as I filled in for Slip the other day. But again, we improved things. That's the main bottom line. Once we got past the low of 6 at Joplin Regional. Lower 30s yesterday, still below normal. But after we started in the upper teens to lower 20s this morning, it was back to the mid 40s in Joplin, and some of you pushing near 50 this afternoon. A change that we'll certainly take, and a change we'll hold on to. In fact, we'll go into the 50s for tomorrow and Monday as we get a chilly start to the next week underway. But we're going to have to turn cooler again once we hit the middle of the week, and some cold days as well. And that could set us up for an interesting system that we will have to keep an eye on by Thursday. Rain, maybe some winter weather with that too, but we got plenty of time to watch that. In the meantime, though, still nice to see that throughout the evening, 7th and range line, no matter where you are across the area, no threatening weather whatsoever. That allowed mostly clear skies to hold firm throughout the day and take us from the upper teens to near 20 this morning, to afternoon highs in the mid 40s overall in southwestern Missouri, but pushing near 50 as you work across southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. As far as how this evening has gone, well, of course, once we got past sunset, we saw temperatures take another dip, but even at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, we were sitting near 30, if not into the mid 30s, but we're still set to primarily hold steady in the upper 20s to lower 30s throughout the course of the night as we see some passing cloud cover come our way from the north and west. That's because of an upper level wave passing to the north, but at the surface, here's the cold front that'll pay us a visit but won't sweep through as we head into tomorrow. You'll notice that with the wind coming out of the north tomorrow. But the moisture resulting in snow in the upper Midwest, that's part of a bigger upper level wave over Hudson Bay. And another wave we'll watch in the desert Southwest, and another one in the Gulf of Alaska. We'll see how those come into play in a bit, but not much to show you here throughout this part of the future track forecast. Just bouncing back and forth through the overnight between partly cloudy and mostly clear skies. That'll keep temperatures steady with that southwest wind in place, right around 30 for many of you. Then mostly sunny skies for tomorrow afternoon. You can see how we will push near 50 before we take another chill back into the near 50 tomorrow. In fact, not sure what's going on with the computer. I did want to pop up the planner for everybody. There we go. Those are the numbers I wanted to show you for tomorrow. 28 in the morning, 45 by noon, pushing 50 tomorrow with those mostly sunny skies, and even with a light north breeze at 5 to 10. Monday morning, quick look at that, has mostly clear skies to start and partly to mostly sunny skies. That will still allow us to go into the mid-50s for Monday. But once we get past a quiet Monday, the system passing to the south keeps rain chances to the south, but it also starts to bring in the colder air, dropping us into the 30s on Tuesday, 40s for Wednesday and Thursday, but Thursday night into Friday, we'll have to see how this system tracks out, if it still has enough moisture as it comes nearby. That can bring in some rain chances and maybe a few snow chances too, late Thursday and into Friday morning. So an up or down ride with these temperatures again, Chris, but up for the next few days. 50 tomorrow, 56 Monday. Then we've got primarily 30s and 40s lined up through much of next week.
As you mentioned earlier, they're still up from Friday too, and I'll take these temperatures over what we saw a couple of days.
And again, like I said, thankful I don't see any single digits to start any of these mornings ahead out.
That's a good thing. Nick,
yeah.
We thank you for that. Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, the Carthage boys aim to take down a ranked Bishop Meade team in the Ralph Miller Tournament Championship. Plus, Webb City also playing for a tournament title against Life Prep at the Raider Classic. Danny Terzer's got that and more next.
championship Saturday for many of our local tournaments. We'll start with the Webb City Cardinals. They're coming off an 81-62 win over Christian Heritage on Friday night in the semifinal of the Four-State Raider Classic. Today, Webb City hits the floor against Life Prep in the championship game. Caden Turner puts it back in off his own missed shot and gets to the line. Cards start on an 11-0 run. Then it's Dante Washington for two. But wait, check this out. He steals it away and gets two more. Then the offensive board here for Trey Rotes and the bucket. Rotes finishes with 18. On the fast break, Dante Washington with the dunk. Big lead for Webb City at half. And after the break, Cole Vaden for two. He's the tournament MVP. And back to Washington now. He's got long range two. Hits the corner three. Team high 21 points. Turner finishes with 20. Webb City blows by Life Prep 90-61 to win the Raider Classic.
We were able to get off to a quick start. I think our defense, really keyed some of that. We were getting some run outs, some easy looks, and then our confidence started getting a little higher, and we were able to connect on some shots. Our guys, I think, were locked in for 3 days, and we've been in this game for 4 straight years, and it's something they look forward to coming over here, and then to finally have the opportunity to close the deal and win one was big for our kids.
The Carthage boys have also earned a spot in a championship game. Carthage and 3-ranked Bishop Miege play for the Ralph Miller tournament title. Carthage falls 77-57. Joel Pugh scores a team-high 23. Over at the Southeast Lancer Classic, the Parsons Vikings have made it to the championship with wins over Baxter and Columbus this week. Parsons faces Erie for the tournament title, picking it up in the third. Eliana Valentine Florence on the fast break finishes on the other end. Then Anaya Hinman puts it in for two, makes it 57-29 Vikings. In the fourth, Brianna Patterson finds Valentine Florence in the corner. She sinks the three, finishes with 13. Later, long pass to Hinman, all alone for the layup. Game high 27 points for Hinman. And in the final minutes, Ashka Patel knocks one down from behind the arc. She adds 13. Parsons wins the Lancer Classic, beating Erie 81-43. In the boys bracket, it's Columbus and College Heights playing for it all. This is a low-scoring one. Columbus wins the Lancer Classic 38-32. In MIAA action, the Missouri Southern women are winners of 4 straight, including a huge road win over the number 2 team, Fort Hays, earlier this week. Southern makes another big statement against 14-ranked Nebraska Kearney. The Lions win 57-54. Maddie Stokes finishes with 15 points, 8 rebounds. Amaya Johns adds 14, and Lacey Stokes gets 12 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals. As for Pitt State, they fall just shy against Hayes 86-82. Career high 22 points plus 5 boards for Jamie Jackson. Aaron Davis gets 20 points, 5 rebounds, and Karenna Gerber finishes with 10 points, 7 rebounds. The Missouri Southern men snap a 3-game skid, beating Nebraska Kearney 87-75. Stan Scott has a team high 25 points with a career high 17 rebounds. Christian Bundy adds 22, and Avery Taggart scores 17 with 7 assists. Pitt State also trying to get back in the win column, but they fall 70-51 to Fort Hays. That's a look at sports. We're back right after this.
Subaru has an all-new WRX sports sedan coming to showrooms this spring. As Fox's Gary Gastelou reports, it's the wild child of the brand's lineup.
Ask most people to name a Subaru and they'll probably mention one of its SUVs like the Outback or Forester. The WRX has been the beating heart of the performance side of the brand for the past 3 decades. And the impressive-based compact sedan is all new for 2022 with the most powerful engine the model's ever had. A turbocharged 2.4-liter flat 4-cylinder with 271 horsepower. That it shares with some of Subaru's SUVs. The new WRX goes on sale this spring at a yet-to-be-announced price and is only slightly larger outside and in than the outgoing model, which starts at $28,420. The WRX's most unusual styling feature is this black wheel arch cladding that looks more like something you'd find on an off-road SUV, but actually improves its performance. It has a textured surface and vents in the back that help smooth the airflow as it passes by the car. Staying on brand as a sporty car, the WRX comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, but it also offers a CVT automatic. The flat 4-cylinder engine makes that signature sewing machine sound Subarus are known for. And when you hit the gas, there's a little delay and then an exciting turbo kick. On the practical side, this has great visibility thanks to an uncommonly low dashboard and these little quarter windows in front of the rear view mirrors. If you want a lot of driving aids, though, you'll have to go with the automatic, which has adaptive cruise control, lane centering, and automatic emergency brakes, while the manual gets by with a blind spot warning system. I guess Subaru thinks if you want a car that'll do the driving for you, a stick's just not for you. The ride can be a little firm for the daily commute, but on the right road with the right tires and this all-wheel drive system, it's just right. In the 2022 Subaru WRX, Gary Gastelou, Fox News.
Up next, Jim Henson's Fraggles are back with a brand new series. We're going to hear from them. Jim Henson's Fraggles are back with a brand new series. So as we get ready for more adventures with these familiar friends, the Fraggles themselves join us to share a look at all the fun in store down at Fraggle Rock. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Let the music play.
It's time to sing and dance along with the fun-loving friends of Fraggle Rock with the Back to the Rock reboot.
Hello, Fraggles!
Hello, Ashley Fraggle!
Red, Boober, Gobo, Moki, and Wembley joined us from Fraggle Rock, where they say it's always a party.
In fact, there's a brand new song that is the craze of Fraggle Rock, and it goes like this. Hey, okay, it's a party down in Fraggle Rock today. Okay, because everyone's invited to the most perfect kind of day, at least in yesterday.
There are exciting new adventures all the time.
We discovered there was a whole bunch of water behind the walls, and because of that water, there is now so much more water in Fraggle Rock. We have a waterfall, and now we have no more water sports. It's just so crazy.
They're all busy with hobbies and activities.
My favorite is diving into the pond in the Great Hall from the highest heights.
Very few know that I discovered soap.
I love to explore, just like my Uncle Traveling Matt.
But I'm always about learning about new creatures and what makes them tick and really just exploring people who maybe don't think the way I do.
And as they kick off the fun, there's one more note to end on.
I have one more very important question. Do you dance your cares away?
Oh, yeah. Worries for another day.
Let the music play.
Down Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock premieres on Apple TV Plus January 21st. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Now, I'm familiar with a number of Jim Henson's productions, and I have heard of Fraggle Rock, but unfortunately, it's just taking a straw poll in the studio. We haven't seen it. But at the same time, I grew up on Muppet Babies on Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., so, that's my era. Anyway, that's it. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and thanks for making us part of your night.